I don't mind being all alone when I'm all alone with you. Oh, sorry about that. Startled me, and I always shoot first. With that, George, always shoot first. Appears you've caught me spending a relaxing evening at home, enjoying an adult beverage, polishing my helmet. Huh? Innuendo. Anyhow, while I have your attention, figured maybe I'd share a story with you with your kind indulgence. Something quite wonderful that happened to me a few weeks ago. You see, you couldn't tell already, a big comic book geek. Always have been, always will be. Can't stop, won't stop. Comic geek for life. That being said, these days it's easy to be a comic geek. You got comic shops everywhere, conventions every weekend, Amazon, eBay, anything you want you can get, pretty much. When I was a boy, not so easy. Matter of fact, before I discovered comic shops and the like, there were two places mainly to get your comics as a kid. By me, I grew up in Lincoln Park, a small little town in North Jersey, often under the water. Bit of a problem there. But two spots to get your comics. One was a little luncheonette deli type place about a mile from me on Main Street, easy to get to, and they were okay. They had an okay selection. They weren't consistent in what titles they carried or how often they would rotate them, but in a pinch, not a bad spot. Matter of fact, I bought my first ever X-Men comic there. X-Men Annual number 6 or 8. I don't remember. Story for another day. But the hot spot for comics was a place a couple miles down the road on the corner of 202 and Pine Brook Road, appropriately called the Corner Store. So good. So anyway, this spot, they would bomb, man. They had two big spinner racks, two big old wire racks, filled with comics, mostly DC and Marvel, and they had some Charlton, some Archie stuff, but back in the day I was just straight up Marvel. I mean, I'd read anything you put in front of me, but given a choice, I was a Marvel kid. And this place was great, but it was on the side of the highway, so I wasn't allowed to ride my bike there. Even though I did a few times, don't tell my mother, she worries. So this place was great, and that's predominantly where I got my comics until I found a convention in Wayne, neighboring town, at a Holiday Inn once a month. So my mom would drop me off there with a bunch of money, and I would just buy my books there, but I'd still go to the corner store occasionally, but I couldn't ride my bike there, so when I was a kid, my grandfather would drive me, like once a week, throw me a couple bucks, and I'd get my comics. He'd wait in the car and listen to the Yankees game, and I'd get my books. Well, once I discovered the conventions, I slowed down going to the corner store because I could get everything I wanted once a month at the con. Then, my freshman year in high school, I discovered my first comic book shop. I was, first day of school, I'm sitting in the cafeteria reading the comic because I was never embarrassed by my comic book hobby. Habit. And some kid came up to me and was like, "Oh, you read comic books?" I was like, "Yes, I do." He said, "Where'd you get that at that comic book shop up the street?" And I said, "The what? Up the where now?" He's like, "Oh, up the street, there's a comic book store." I'm like, "A comic book store?" I said, "Yeah." So the whole rest of the school day, I was like vibrating with anticipation. And ran up Main Street, right at the bell, closing bell there, you know, out and up the street. I found Pegasus Enterprises, and I was home. And the place was awesome. I ended up getting a job there right after high school, and I worked there for about 10 years, until it closed up in early 2000, 2001. Then I became a customer at a spot in Whippany called Fat Moose Comics. And I work there now, a couple days a week. I've been working there for about 8 years, and I love it. It's a great store. It's been around for 35 years this year. 35 years. It's not easy to do. So, stopped going to the corner store. Basically, roundabout, sorry about all that. Stopped going to the corner store for my comics a long time ago. Cut to a few weeks ago, I'm driving past the corner store, a little parched, a little tired, so let's go get a Red Bull. This is not an endorsement. That stuff will kill you. So will this, but this is an endorsement. So, I go in the corner store, I get a Red Bull, and I go, let me see what they have comics-wise, these days. Look around, I don't see the spinner rack, so I said to the guy, hey, where's your comics? Because, we keep them on the wall now by the magazines, they don't really sell, so you tell me about it. And, so whatever happened to the spinner racks you had, He goes, well, one's at my other store, but the other one's right in the back over there. And I see it? I said, of course. I went back there, and there's one of the racks, one of the 2 racks that I used to shop from when I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And it was dirty. Like that chick you picked up at the Limelight back in the day, kind of dirty, yeah. And it was a little busted up, a little bent. And I knew immediately I had to have this rack in my life. So I explained to him how my grandfather used to bring me here and buy comics off of that very rack. And I work in a comic shop now, and I would love to buy it so I could bring it to the store and use it and display it as a little piece of my history. And he was receptive. He said, yeah. How much? I said, I don't know. Let me go home and research it online, and I'll come back tomorrow with a price. So I went home, hopped online. I couldn't find any for sale. I couldn't get a price because anybody who has them is keeping them, So I just went back the next day and I was like, hey man, I don't know, how about $30? And he said, well, I was thinking like 50. I was like, all right, $40 it is. So I gave him $40. He helped me carry it to the car. I brought it to Fat Moose Comics and showed it to Matt and said, look, we can use this for all ages books or variant covers or employee picks, whatever. Much to my surprise, he said, eh. What do you mean, eh? I said, we don't have a lot of room and it's just going to take up space. And I was flabbergasted, like, you're a comic shop, why wouldn't you want this? Right? I said, all right, you know what? You don't want it. It's coming home with me. All the better. So I left it there for a couple days. So after work I could clean it, and I cleaned the hell out of this thing. I mean, it was filthy. Went through a whole tube of those disinfectant wipes, and every day after work for like 2 or 3 days I would just spend a little bit of time cleaning it off. And it's funny, for those couple of days I had it by the counter, every customer came in and was like, holy crap, where did you get that, and how much do you want for it? And I said, nah, that's mine, it's coming home. So cleaned it up, I brought it home, I brought it upstairs to the spare bedroom, which is my little man attic cave thing. I don't have a name for the fortress of ineptitude. Henceforth it shall be known thusly. So I brought it here and realized I had no freaking room for this thing. Like, this room is packed. You can't really see it, but trust me, it's packed. So I didn't know what to do. There's no way I'm getting rid of this rack, And my girlfriend came home and I showed her the rack and I was like, look at this thing. And, I got nowhere to put it. And she said, well, it's pretty cool. Why don't you just put it down in the living room? Really? She's like, yeah, I mean, she's cool. She's definitely cool. So we found a spot in the living room, but we had to throw out this chair, this old chair that she had reupholstered. It was a cool chair, but we never used it. It's kind of taking up space. So we ditched the chair, and we had these 2 big bookcases full of her books. Took everything down, moved the cases over a foot or 2, popped the rack in there, fits perfectly, put some comics on there that I wanted me to get around to reading, much like all of these here. You can't even see off camera. Over here is a ton of freaking comics. So that was that. So I have this comic book rack now. It's an old school rack. You can't really get them anywhere. You can find them in the wild if you're lucky. I only paid $40 for it. And not only is it a comic book spinner rack from, God knows, probably the 50s, it's my rack that I used to shop from. Like, there's my DNA on that thing. I should probably reword that. Anyway, would you like to see it? After listening to all this? I know you'd like to see it. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Maybe 2 cats. Guys, really? No fighting. Come on. Lunas, Blue Bug. These are our cats. Appropriately renamed Chaos and Destruction. Okay, you coming with me? Come on. He wants to see the comic book rack too. Down the stairs. Okay, alright, here we go. Ready? Ta-da. Alright, too dim. Didn't plan this out. Here we go. There we go. There, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's my spinner rack. So you can see, it's the old school comics for all ages. Hey, kids, comics, wholesome comics, entertaining. Comics, merry-go-round, the best in comics. So what I've done, I put each side let's see, so like this rack here is all Marvel that I have not yet read. Then we've got DC, again, books I have to get around to reading. And then there is Dark Horse and IDW and everything else. There's some Archie stuff here, because the new Archie stuff has been really good. Just a mix of things. And oh, here's all the Image stuff. And there you have it. Not just an awesome piece of comic book history, but a piece of my comic book history. Thank you all so much for your kind indulgence. To reward you, here's some footage of a fuzzy cat eating food. Take it easy, everybody.